Hi everyone, it's me again, Vanessa. And yeah, this week we're basically going to talk about creating a content calendar. And that's because before we actually start putting pins out there, or as I've been told based on my research, it's really good to sort of have a calendar, to help you because part of gaming the Pinterest algorithm, or so I've learned, is about having consistent content. So I expected this journey to be, all about creating cool images and then just posting it, not necessarily, having these full blown calendars already prepped and ready for a month in advance. But based on what I've learned about the Pinterest algorithm, it's quite important actually that you do create a calendar. Um, and it works very differently from different social media platforms. So, yeah, I'm going to talk more about this today. And the content calendar is basically related to my pinning strategy. And I finally settled on one based on, after doing a lot of research, based on the abundance of content that's basically out there from Pinterest influencers and gurus. So basically, what I did was I was going through the YouTube rabbit hole of seeing the different strategies YouTubers were Pinterest YouTubers specifically were sharing of strategies that have worked for them to game the Pinterest algorithm. But I was kind of overwhelmed because there was just an abundance of information out there. So what I decided to do was also, and I think I've mentioned this before that I'm part of. I joined a Facebook group called Pinterest VAs, so Pinterest virtual assistants. Um, and it has to be one of the most active Facebook groups that I'm a part of with a really helpful community behind it. So I decided to just ask my first question, which was, what sort of courses do you guys actually recommend I start to understand more about getting started with Pinterest and potentially becoming a successful, most importantly, a successful Pinterest marketer? And so they actually suggest there were a bunch of courses that were out there, but the ones that actually got the most mentions was this Levy Road course. So Levy Road, I would say is a lesser known influencer. I didn't really come across any of her content on my own. She's not one of the well known Pinterest influencers that's kind of like dominating YouTube or Instagram and the sorts. Um, but she actually has a really really good practical course, and a lot of people were raving about it in the comments, and so that's why I decided to check it out and actually purchase this course. And I can say, full on, not sponsored by her, but if you want to, Levy, hit me up. But anyway, she, that it's been such a good practical course, that has given me so much like information about Pinterest and how the algorithm works. Because she really has studied and also tried and tested many different things to see when it comes to scheduling pin types, experimenting with different pin types, different boards, timing, the number of pins that you should post. So I highly recommend her course, and it's been super practical as well. Lots of information, but relevant information. And so with that, as I said before, it's kind of like important to have a content calendar so you can basically plan out your content for a month and then actually see if that's bringing traction. Month or two, actually. Because from what I've heard, you only really get to leverage on Pinterest, on the Pinterest algorithm after having posted your content and it having to follow a strategy for 2 to 3 months. That's when you start to see pickup. And it's a slow burn, but then it's evergreen content that stays in Pinterest that you would that benefit from. So it's worth the long game. That's what we're in for. That's what I'm in for. So the one of the strategies I decided to settle on is called the waterfall method. And it's basically how she creates 4 different pins for one specific URL. So you can think of one URL as one blog post. And you guys also saw me setting up my blog in the beginning, so I do not have, a bunch of content to basically direct traffic to. So this is a good starting point for me as a new blogger. So probably there are other strategies out there that work better for more established blogs and websites, or for businesses, e-commerce businesses that are trying to make to leverage Pinterest. But because she has it specifically for fresh new blogs or like, fresh new accounts. I find this quite, oh, actually, not specifically fresh new blogs, but like for new accounts, I find this very useful and something that it's fairly easy for me to start with. I don't need to have like a huge, yeah, a huge backlog to basically get into this. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out the waterfall method because that's basically what I'm going to be using to that this is the methodology that I'm going to be using to create my content, to schedule my content, and all the rules that I'll be saying on like how many pins, etc. The time frame, the frequency of posting. It's all basically from Levy Road because her course has been super insightful so far, and has reviews from a really active Pinterest community. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. And before I go into showing you guys my my content calendar, actually no, I can show it right now. Oh yeah, it's right here. My bad. As you can see, I decided not to, once more, even though I love Levy Road's course, so I'm using her methodology, her rules that she set in place and her scheduling tips. I am not actually using a direct copy of her Pinterest scheduling, her Pinterest content calendar, or keyword research calendar. Google Sheet. I decided to sort of make an adaptation that works best for me because, as I said, I'm starting from scratch with a blog, so I'm not doing this for a client or someone that already has, a blog with a lot of content that you can work with several different categories, etc. So I just needed to find something that's kind of like adapted and also that lowers the barrier of entry for me so that I don't get overwhelmed. But I could just show you quickly how hers basically looks like. So you get this with the course, where then she kind of, this is the analytics that you use for later on. I actually might make an adaptation of this further down the line when I'm actually examining how well my pins are doing and my boards are doing. This is her keyword planner, her keyword sheet. I prefer Heather Forrest's keyword research method because it's more intuitive for the way I do keyword research, and also because of the tools that I'm using. But what I do like is that she has a board planner. So this is also something super important, and I think I'll do this separately, is how you kind of create boards. So it's not just about creating pins, it's also about creating boards that you're going to pin to. And Levy mentions this in the course as well, and I think there's a really good article about this on Pinterest developers, where they talk about the different pin to board relationship and how they're constantly testing it. So yeah, it's really important to sort of spread out your content and post to multiple different boards. It's not just about creating pins for one singular board. You want to like have different boards that are under the, a similar category for your blog posts, and then continuously pinning to all those different boards. So yeah, I think her board planner is really good, and especially it's easy for mapping out if you have if you kind of have your own blog with a lot of different categories. Anyway, let me show you what I've personally done so far in this video. So as I said before, I'm kind of going down the affiliate marketing route, and in my last video, I talked about how I was doing keyword research for some Amazon products. So I settled on starting with these four. So the Wabi Sabi hanging pendant light, a vase, vase, however you pronounce it, a bonsai tree starter kit, and also the jade plant, which was a wild card that I found through my live keyword research with you guys the last time. And yeah, so I've done, I've kind of compiled some main keywords that I'm going to add. It's also much different than doing keyword research on Google. I'm not kind of overwhelming it with too many keywords. Because also what I've heard from the from the Pinterest algorithm is that they would also change, like you do not need an exact match to rank the same way for keywords, the same way you would for Google, where, modern lighting pendant would still kind of bring the results for modern pendant lighting on Pinterest. But on Google, it might make a difference, modern lighting pendant versus modern pendant lighting. So it's fine if basically the positioning is changed a bit. So yeah, how I'm basically spacing out my content. So much information here in this video, guys. Uh, is basically, yeah, by different products. And as I think I mentioned earlier as well, I'm going to basically use the waterfall method. So what it entails is that you will create 4 different pins for one URL or one blog post. So this specific, I've written up an article for this hanging pendant light, because the way I'm also writing my articles on my blog is going to be focused on the kind of products, affiliate products that I can hopefully get a commission from. So it's just easier for me to kind of create content that way, as opposed to just writing about trending stuff, because I'm not really focused about ranking the blog for now. I'm just trying to figure out how I can get people onto Pinterest. I mean, from Pinterest onto my blog. Um, so yeah, I've created an article that talks about the different. I'm still trying to figure out my formatting, so please cut me some slack. Um, but so it doesn't look as cute, but it'll get cute. I used ChatGPT to help me write this, and basically, these are two images that I've created using AI. I'll talk about like the different AI tools that I plan to use for Pinterest for later on as well when I get to that point. But yeah, so these two have affiliate links that direct it to Amazon. And so this is basically going to be the main blog article that I'm going to push people to from the 4 different pins that I create. And so what Levy also recommends, and I've done this for the first for the first pin, you could say. So I'm also going to write a pin type, because I want everything to basically be housed in the same sheet so that I'm not overwhelmed by going towards multiple sheets. And then we'll see how messy this gets eventually as well, with my content calendar, like with making this like a full-blown content calendar by month, by month and by days, because for now I'm just sort of like compiling the information. I'm not posting it or scheduling it yet. I'll do that separately. So yeah, I think it'll work, but it could also get messy at some point, and I might want to make use of tools like Tailwind. But we'll see for now. So yeah, as I said before, I'm going to focus on this specific pendant light, and I'm going to make 4 different pin descriptions and pin titles for it. So I can just basically insert a row below. And yeah, I've basically done this before, but I thought it'd be cool to do it live as well, because then I can actually talk you guys through some of the information that I got from Levy Road. And basically what she says when you're creating those 4 different pins to use for the waterfall method is, for your pin title, you don't need to really create new pin titles or pin descriptions from scratch, because these are all going to be like similar content. The way Pinterest actually marks something as fresh content is if you have a new image and if you've changed the title and description. So, and you can make very minimal changes to the image that you're using, and the title and description. So this has worked for her, and it's something I really want to test out. So it's between 60 and 100 characters for your pin title, and you're supposed to maybe change around 2 words. So for example, Zen Your Space with Wabi Sabi. So what I could do is also, instead of modern chandelier, I can put pendant lighting. Yeah, modern pendant lighting for your home. My gosh, my keyboard is really bugging out today, or maybe it's just my typing. So I'm changing, removing some words. She says a minimum of changing 2 words, but I guess it's like plus minus. And then for the second one, I can kind of maybe make it, modern pendant lighting for your home. I can kind of make it modern pendant lighting for your restaurant. And this is something that I'll just have to test out, right? Like, I'll have this blog post that I'll keep wanting to send traffic to. But yeah, so these are like basically the 2 words that I've changed. And then in terms of the pin description, she basically said you could do the same thing as well, but instead you just change 5 words from it, or a sentence. So, discover the beauty of simplicity and imperfections with blah 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 style. I could also take out like a sentence if I'd like, and then transform your dining area, I could just kind of make it transform your, you know, change change up your living room, etc. But removing a couple of words, changing a couple of words. So this is basically what I'm going to do with my pin description and my pin title. And yeah, and then I'm pretty much ready to go. The next missing thing would be my Canva link, but that's something I'm going to do a whole nother video on, because I will spend some time trying out different images. But yeah, this is basically how I'm prepping this content calendar. So for one specific blog post, I'll have 4 different pins. And then once I start to post them out, I'll also put the dates. But that will happen once I've created the Canva, because it most likely looks like I'm going to use Canva to basically create these images, these pins. Also, how I created the initial description, pin description, and pin titles. Basically, I made use of Keywords Everywhere's template. So Keywords Everywhere has a plugin. So it is an extension that I work for, full disclaimer, but we also have a plugin for ChatGPT, which makes it much easier for you to use our prompts to create your content. So I've been making use of their Pinterest prompt. And, you know, you can basically generate pin descriptions or pin titles, and then you just have to put the information that you need. So for instance, I had I put a trustworthy voice tone and a conversational style. This is because I want to be known as an authority for Zen-inspired interiors. So that's basically why, yeah, I've chosen that. And then you kind of just want to include keywords. So you put pendant lighting, you know, wabi sabi interior, and the topic is wabi sabi lighting, and then it basically shoots out I'll basically shoot out a great description that I can then use for Pinterest. So I highly recommend. Not just saying that because I work for Keywords Everywhere, but I just find it really useful. And yeah, this is a very loaded video with a lot of different information. But I just kind of wanted to give an overview of, the content calendar. I'm sort of, this is mine. Yeah, this content calendar that I'm slowly growing to make it work for me. And also to talk more about the strategy, the pinning strategy that I decided to settle on, because that took a lot of research. And I know there's lots of different other strategies out there, but for me, I seem to have the most confidence in the waterfall method. It's easy to follow and it's easy for me to apply right now, given the kind of blog I have and the sort of niche I'm in. So yeah. Oh, also one good thing to note, this is just a piece of information that I found as I was doing my research, and it's actually something related to a previous video, but I thought I'll just share it here. And it's basically, let me look at my competitors. Yeah, it's good to note that someone's follower count doesn't really relate to their monthly views. So their monthly views, I found a new competitor that I'm going to basically steal content from, that I like their content. So not steal content, but get inspired by. And they only had 40 followers, but it was kind of cool to see that they had 54,000 monthly views. So I think that's a more important metric than your followers, or so I've been told. But yeah, that's all the tips I have. It's an extra long video, but I hope it was full of relevant information. And I'll see you guys next time when I when I start making the different boards on Pinterest. Take care and see you next time.